This episode was taken from a recent talk I held. I hope you get some value from this talk. I would love to hear your thoughts. The biggest question every entrepreneur, landlord, and guru wants to know is this: how are landlords and entrepreneurs like us increasing our rent up to £42,155 a year above the market rent from a single property? Now that replaces the average salary, whether we're the owner of the property or we're just the tenant. You're listening to Ryan OTTO, and this podcast will give you all the answers. Welcome to the Perfect Property Deal. Hi everyone, Ryan OTTO here. Welcome to Ask Ryan OTTO. This is episode 7. I'm super excited. I can't wait to get into this question today. Thank you guys for all the comments so far. Remember, this is your opportunity to ask me anything. Ask away, okay guys, and I will answer all of your questions. So the question I have today is, what will I have to do to manage a short letting property? What will I have to do to manage a short letting property? Okay, now I haven't got any background any more than what I have right there. So I'm assuming that you're considering going into short letting. Maybe you already have a property, or maybe you're considering buying a property, or maybe you've watched some of our other content or training, and you know that you don't need to buy a property right now to do this, okay? Because you can do this on properties that you don't even own. So you can rent them from landlords if you're not already a landlord. Avoid putting the mortgage deposit in, the 40,000, whatever they want these days, 20% on the average price. And you can avoid the legal fees and all the shenanigans that comes with it, because you don't have to buy a single property ever to put that property on booking.com. Okay, guys? So now we've got that out of the way. What do I have to do to manage a short letting property? Okay. The first thing you're going to need to do is set the property up, first of all. Let's go back one step and assume that you haven't set the property up yet. So you're going to need to dress the property in a particular way, obviously furnish the property as well in a particular way. And if you're looking for ideas of how you need to present the property, okay, it has to meet a certain standard. It has to meet guests or clients, travelers' expectations. If you can imagine people that are staying in a hotel, they expect obviously a certain level of presentation. So if you've got an apartment or a house or something like that, and you are putting it on booking.com, taking it out of the AST market, and putting that onto booking.com now, where every £1,000 of rent in the old AST market is now worth up to £3,000 of rent on booking.com, then my best advice to you to find out how to present the property, how to style the property, how to dress the property, would be for you to, first of all, look at the area. Look at where your property is, the one you've got or the one you're getting, or the one that, or the area that you're looking to acquire your first or next property or perfect property deal in, okay? When you have the area, just type that in on booking.com. It will present a list of what else is available, okay? Make sure you put in the spec or the amenities. So for example, is it a flat? Is it a house? So tick holiday home or tick apartment. How many bedrooms does it have? So that will come down to how many it can sleep, using the rule of thumb of 2 people in each room. 2 people in each room. 1 bed, 2 people. 2 bed, 4 people. Bearing in mind, if it has a sofa bed in the lounge, for a 1 bed it's a 3, maybe a 4. If it's a sofa bed in the lounge, or has a sofa bed in the lounge, for a 2 bed or 3 bed, it takes it from the 4 to 5 or 6, and then from the 6 in the bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, 2 in each, to the 7 or the 8. So take that into consideration. Go on to booking.com, have a look, at what the others are doing. So don't reinvent the wheel. You will always hear me saying that you should never reinvent the wheel. No, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. So you don't need to start from scratch with a plain piece of paper, scratching your head, wondering, what furniture does it need to have? What do I need to provide in the property? You can avoid all of that wasted time and guesswork and have a look at, just model some of the better, higher end properties. So go to booking.com, use that area, what I just showed you, what I just shared with you guys, okay? So you're now in the right area. Now you will choose 9 plus out of 10 reviews. 9 out of 10 reviews and plus. So you want to aim at the top of the market. There's no point looking at competitors, well, if you want to compete with those guys, which are 8 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10, 6.9 out of 10. Just forget that, because clearly what they are doing isn't working, okay? Have a look at what the successful listings are doing. The in high demand listings, the ones that are always booked, the ones that have got hardly any availability, the ones that will say booked 5 times in the last 24 hours, the red wording in high demand, and they have lots of reviews, okay? Lots of reviews. So make sure that you look at those properties and you just model what they're doing. So this will let you know what you need to include in the property, okay? That's before you even get started. So you need to know what you should put in there, what type of furniture, what those guests expect, and the amenities, okay? So has it got a microwave? Has it got a toaster? Has it got a coffee machine? Has it got a mini bar? How is it styled? So have a look to see what the best competitors are doing. That's the box ticked, okay, for how to present the property. The next thing you need to do is obviously coordinate housekeepers. If you're just getting into short letting, you will need housekeepers. Every property that gets rented, it's not an AST now, so it's not going to be rented, or you have to provide bedding on the first day they move in, and then that's it. Or if it's obviously an AST and you're not furnishing the property, obviously you're not providing bedding at all, okay? So you have to think of it as like a hotel. Think of it as a hotel. When you come into a hotel, someone checks in today, everything is ready, including the bedding. They check out tomorrow, somebody comes in, they change all the bedding, change all the linen, restock everything, and then it starts again every single day. So you have to be hotel ready. Hotel ready. So you have to have housekeepers. You got to coordinate housekeepers. Somebody checks out at 10, new people check in at 3, housekeeper goes at 10:15, done by 12:15, next guest ready to check in. Ka-ching, okay? Right, so coordinate housekeepers. When a guest is checking out, whether it's every day, whether it's 3 nights they stay for, whether it's 1 week they stay for, or 2 weeks or 1 month, whenever they leave, whatever your model is, okay, whenever they leave, laundry. You have to have laundry, a system for the laundry, okay? So somebody comes to collect the laundry, brings the new laundry, or you have a worker that works for you, the housekeeper, which we prefer because it keeps them in work full time. Multiple girls, keeps them in work, okay, every day, so they're not just part time and not turning up because they need to do other things. They're with us, and we fill the gaps with the laundry and other bits, okay, for the housekeepers. So you need to have a system for laundry, right? Guest leaves, laundry gets taken away, new laundry comes, put back on the beds for the new guest, ready, just like a hotel. You also need to think about developing the listing. Now, there's a massive difference between spending 1 hour ticking the boxes on booking.com just to list what your property has. Now your property is listed. The difference between that property crushing it or barely covering the rent that you were achieving and the expenses is the difference between how the listing is built, how the listing is set up, and how the listing is managed. When you coordinate all of those elements and it's an ongoing thing to manage and develop the listing, then you will appear or on page 1 of Booking.com. When you're on page 1 of Booking.com, it's how we're achieving £3,000 in revenue for every £1,000 we were achieving in rent on an AST. So that's how we're achieving 84% occupancy all year round. And that's also how we're achieving at least £205 a night, which is how we're making £42,155 a year on some of the case studies we shared with you guys. So you've seen them on social, you've seen them on our webinars, you've seen them in our training, you've seen them, or you've heard about them, you've seen them somewhere online. You know what I mean, okay? So that's the difference. So you have to develop the listing. It's not just a tick box, put it on once and that's it. That can be it, and that is it for the other landlords or the other entrepreneurs that leave it to guesswork, okay? You're in this business to make money. Don't leave it to guesswork, okay? The next thing is occupancy levels. You need to stay on top of trends and demand and low seasons and high seasons to make sure that you optimize your occupancy. Because there's no point in you having your listing saying, I don't know, £250 a night weekdays, £600 a night on the weekend, but nobody's booking, or your occupancy is something like 46.3%. That's our competitor set in one of our areas. So our competitors, the market, okay, the average, this is the average, in one of the areas where we've got multiple properties, okay, guys, now we are something like, I think we're something like 50% above them. 50% above them. It's crazy. Based on their occupancy. Okay, guys? And they're around about 46.3%. So the difference comes down to occupancy levels. So you have to stay on top of the moving elements, the moving parts, okay? So you know how to optimize your listing. So in high demand, your prices can go up. And in the lower season, your prices can go down, and around major events, your prices again can go up, and other things that you would do with your pricing, skillfully with your pricing. That has to be managed daily. That's an ongoing thing, okay, guys? But I don't want it to sound like it's too much work. The difference here is, this is where you make the money. This is where you can earn £3,000 a month instead of £1,000 a month by optimizing your listing in this particular way, because it all comes down to the occupancy. When you've done everything else, if you haven't got the occupancy, you're not going to get the profit. Okay? If you haven't got the occupancy levels up, you're not going to get the profit. You're not going to generate the life-changing amounts that we've shared with you guys and we're teaching you guys. You're just going to break even, maybe earn a few £100 a month, maybe $750, something like that, just mundane, and that's where you'll stay, okay? If you want to earn like £3,500 a month like we are with the case studies that we've shared with you guys, then you have to stay on top of these things. It really is that simple. You also have to keep your guests happy, okay? You have to keep your guests happy. Now, this comes down to the reviews, guys, and the review score. You've seen the properties online on Booking.com that have terrible reviews. They're going further and further and further and further and further down the listing. Page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5. Further down the listing because there's an algorithm, okay? If you imagine Booking.com as a younger sibling of Google, okay? There's an algorithm, right? Now that algorithm looks at different data points instantly, all the time, different data points, and it gives them a score. Higher the score, the higher up the listing, or the higher up the rankings you appear, just like Google. Okay, guys? The lower the algorithm score, the logical test that they do, the further, or non-relevant, you could say. You're non-relevant. You don't want to be non-relevant. You have to be relevant. If you're non-relevant, you'll earn the rent money you used to earn plus, small change. If you're in this game for small change, then fine. But if you want to earn, the life-changing amounts that we are, up to 201% above the old market rent that you used to get, then you need to be thinking about these different elements to optimize your listing, to be on page 1, to be in the top picks, to be in the highest review score, to be on page 1 of Booking.com. Okay, guys? So you have to think about the review score. That's one element out of all the elements that the algorithm looks at. Reviews, guys, okay? You have to stay on top of that. You have to keep your guests happy. And systems. You could do the same thing every single day and repeat that and do it again from scratch every single day. Now that's up to you. But if you want to automate things so you don't have to repeat the same process day in, day out for every single new guest, then you just need to automate things. Now, there's many different ways for automation. From example, the phone call could be automated by having a script written out once, passing that to a particular member of staff who answers the phone in the same way. Or it gets sent to a call center that answers the phone in the same way. That's something that's now completely automated. They send the email to you after they've taken the call, and then you decide what to do with that call after that, okay? It can also be the messages that are sent to the guests when they book. Do you want to type out the message every single time? Type the guest name, type all the details about the property every single time a new guest booked? No. So you would set that up in another way where it's automated. So as soon as a guest books, you don't do anything. The system automatically sends them the welcome email. And then it will send them another one. And then they ask a question and it automatically sends them another one. Okay? Now, that will save you a lot of time, a lot of hassle, and a lot of headache. So you can focus on finding the next deal, and the next deal, and the next deal, and managing your listing to appear on page 1 to get your occupancy levels up so you can earn more money. Okay? Up to 201%. Above your old AST market rent. Okay, guys. Now, what we found is, as landlords ourselves from the year 2000, and landlords we're working with, we're helping landlords and showing landlords and partnering with landlords in joint ventures or just taking over landlords' properties or entire portfolios, and they're earning, or we're earning, 10 times more now on Booking.com, from Booking.com as the vehicle, than the landlord was earning in the AST market. 10 times more, okay? This is where you need to be focusing all of your attention, guys. This is where you need to be focusing all of your attention right now. This is for any landlord out there who's not short letting. This is for any landlord out there who is just renting the conventional way. Maybe all of your properties won't be suitable, but believe me, there will be some that will be suitable, okay, guys? So if you want to earn 10 times the profit that you earned last year, this is where you need to be focusing all of your attention. I hope you got some value from this episode 7 of Ask Ryan OTTO. I'll be so pumped. It would mean the world to me if you guys left a comment on my social, if you're watching this clip somewhere on social, or if you're on the YouTube channel and you leave a comment below, or you're listening on the podcast and you leave a review there, or just hit me up on social. Let me know what you thought about this episode 7. I'll be super excited and so pumped. I hope you guys all got some value out of this episode today. And just to remind you guys that you're only one perfect property deal away from everything that you want. Just one. My friend, if you're not already using arbitrage, what I mean by that is taking a rental property you don't have to be the owner of out of the AST rental market and putting it on Booking.com. You stand to lose out on the largest transfer of wealth that's happening right now in 2019, because every £1,000 of AST rent is now worth up to £3,000 of rent on Booking.com. If you're not focusing all of your attention on Booking.com right now, you stand to lose. Now, you have a massive advantage over the other 2.5 million landlords that are also looking for these secrets. Don't waste that advantage by doing nothing after listening to this talk today. You can join our communities on social media called Ask Ryan OTTO to discuss these episodes and have your questions answered on the next show. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Snapchat. I would love to hear from you and know what you liked about this talk.